8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Rajapaksa offers prayers at Tirupati. Christmas dawns at midnight today. Midnight masses will be conducted under strict health guidelines. CBSL adds merit to the season with further incentives for workers' remittances. GMOA strike temporarily called off. Sri Lanka records 20 new COVID-related deaths. 323 more people recover from infections. The government plans to provide an advance of not more than 4,000 rupees to government servants for the year 2022. In news overseas, Bangladesh ferry fire, dozens killed in Jalakati. And in sports news, Burnley Everton postponed because of COVID cases. Those are the headlines, and now more the details of the local news. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is on a 2-day spiritual visit to India, today offered prayers at the famous hill shrine of Lord Venkateshwara in Tirumala in India's Andhra Pradesh, along with his wife Shiranti Rajapaksa. Prime Minister Rajapaksa came to India on Thursday to pay his visit to the temple city of Tirupati. He was accorded a warm welcome by the Joint Executive Officer of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam and Veer Brahman and Chief Vigilance and Security Officer Gopinath Jatti as he arrived at the temple gate. After the darshan, the priest performed rituals associated with seeking blessings of Lord Shiva at the Ranganayana Kula Mandapam. Andhra Pradesh's Deputy Chief Minister Narayana Swamy was also present during the Lankan Prime Minister's Tirumala temple visit. While taking a tour of the temple, Prime Minister Rajapaksa also deposited money in the hundi, and the couple was presented with a memento, New Year calendar and diaries by the authorities. Prime Minister Rajapaksa visited the temple in February 2020 when a special puja was performed at the Devasthanam on the first anniversary of his current term. The Government Medical Officers Association GMOA has decided to call off its strike temporarily other than an allowance. The decision was reached at the association's Central Committee meeting held today, according to Dr. Samantha Ananda. The GMOA engaged in a 24-hour token strike on Tuesday at all hospitals and medical institutions in the Mannar, Trikapalli, Ratnapura, Nuwara and Polonnaruwa districts. It subsequently resorted to an island-wide strike action the following day against several issues, including political involvement in medical appointments. The association earlier said it would carry on the strike action until their demands are met. However, it was reported that they have held a decisive discussion on continuing the strike, which left patients stranded at hospitals for more than 4 consecutive days. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 20 more coronavirus-related deaths for December 23rd, increasing the total death toll in the country due to the virus pandemic to 14,832. According to the figures released by the Government Information Department, the deaths reported today include 12 males and 8 females. 6 of the patients are between the ages of 30 to 59 years. The remaining 14 are in the age group of 60 years and above. The Ministry of Health says that 323 more COVID-19 patients in total were discharged from medical care today, thus as they have recovered from the virus infection. This brings the total number of recoveries reported in the country to 558,850. Since the outbreak of the pandemic last year, Sri Lanka has confirmed as many as 582,149 COVID-19 infections. According to official data, more than 8,700 infected patients in total are currently receiving treatment. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The government plans to provide an advance of not more than 4,000 rupees to government servants for the year 2022. The relevant circular will be issued soon. The allowances will be made between 1st January and 28th February. The religious unit of the SLBC will conduct a series of Dharmadeshana programs to mark the 55th Broadcasting Corporation Day. A special program will be held on 5th January from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Anandak Samarkand auditorium. The program will be live through single and national service on that day. Parliamentarian S.B. Dissanayake said that the country cannot be developed by protesting against investments. Mr. Dissanayake made these remarks while addressing a media conference at the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna headquarters at Mattaramulla today. The dollar crisis was there in the year 2001 and in 2009 as well. However, the government took effective measures to overcome those challenges. Similarly, the parliamentarian expressed confidence that the present crisis will also be overcome through effective measures and collective efforts of the government and the common masses. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Rajapaksa offers prayers at Tirupati. Christmas dawns at midnight today. Midnight masses will be conducted under strict health guidelines. CBSL adds merit to the season with further incentive for workers' remittances. GMOA strike temporarily called off. Sri Lanka records 20 new COVID-related deaths. 323 more people recover from the infection. The government plans to provide an advance of not more than 4,000 rupees to government servants for the year 2022. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhaloka Vedamahatma.
The main news story for tonight: Christmas dawns at midnight today. Midnight masses will be conducted under strict health guidelines. Christmas is celebrated by Christians and Catholics all over the world. Sri Lanka is also getting ready to celebrate Christmas in a peaceful manner. The health authorities request the public to follow the health guidelines while celebrating Christmas. The main churches in Sri Lanka conduct midnight mass as a traditional practice. The devotees will attend the midnight mass while following health guidelines. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation will air the live proceeding of religious observances from 5 main locations from 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. The programs will be aired through the single and national service of the SLBC. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhaloka Vedamahatma.
And in Watchlight tonight, health authorities have requested the public to follow the health guidelines strictly as the corona infections crossed the 700 mark for the last few weeks. Although it is observed that there was a sharp drop in the corona infections during the last few days that cannot be taken for granted, the health authorities warned. Director General of the Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that it is a high risk for the public to get involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requested the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He pointed out that 600 to 750 corona patients are still being reported daily from the country. Therefore, he emphasized that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public act irresponsibly. And that came to you in the segment of Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB bills during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
Headlines of the world news: Bangladesh ferry fire, dozens killed near Jalakati. COVID update: Christmas flights cancelled and new curbs amid Omicron spread. Omicron, US to lift travel restrictions from Southern Africa. Those are the headlines, and I move on to the details of the world news. At least 37 people have been killed and about 100 others injured after a packed ferry caught fire in southern Bangladesh, local officials say. The blaze on a 3-decked vessel started mid-river near the town of Jalakati as it sailed from the capital Dhaka to the town of Bangakuna. Some of the victims drowned after jumping into the water. The number of casualties in today's disaster is likely to increase as many of the passengers have severe burns. Millions of people are facing travel disruption and increased COVID restrictions over Christmas as the surging Omicron variant sees safety curbs tightened and flights cancelled. Italy, Spain and Greece have made face masks compulsory for outdoors again. Catalonia in northern Spain has imposed an overnight curfew and the Netherlands is in a strict lockdown. Despite early findings that Omicron is milder than the other variants, scientists are concerned by the number of cases. The US is to lift travel restrictions it imposed on 8 southern African nations over a new coronavirus strain. The White House said the ban imposed on 29 November and affecting South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini and Malawi will be lifted by New Year's Eve. The officials said the curbs were no longer necessary amid a US explosion of cases of the Omicron variant. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Bangladesh ferry fire, dozens killed near Jalakati. COVID update, Christmas flights cancelled and new curbs amid Omicron spread. Omicron US to lift restrictions from southern Africa. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janujaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB beers during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070-400-1928.
And in development news, development programs in 14,022 Grama Seva divisions will commence from the first week of January. Chairman of the Colombo District Development Committee MP Pradeep Udungoda said that identified projects have been submitted to the Finance Ministry for approval. He said livelihood development programs will be given priority. And that came to you in the segment of Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070-400-1928.
Moving on with sports news.
In sports news, the Premier League has postponed Everton's match in Burnley on Sunday because of coronavirus and injuries. Everton was originally rebuffed by the league in their application to have the game called off. But the Premier League statement said on Friday that they reviewed the club's request following further injuries to the squad. It means 3 of the 9 English top-flight games scheduled for Sundays have now been postponed. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
For all foreign currencies remitted through NSB based on the US dollar value, 10 rupees more per dollar plus more gifts until 31st December 2021. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, after a decade, an Indian carrier, Indigo, is set to operate 4 flights per week to Colombo from Trichy from January 10th. The long-pending Trichy-Colombo-Trichy service of Indigo has been welcomed by the travel fraternity. The flights will be operated on Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. Before COVID, Sri Lankan Airlines had operated 2 services a day. However, after the lockdown, the carrier has resumed only 1 service. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB You Trust.
economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
In economic news, the shares of First Capital Treasurers PLC commenced trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange yesterday. The shares have been listed on the DEC board of the Colombo Stock Exchange under the investment banking and brokerage sector. The occasion was marked with a special bell-ringing ceremony. CEO of the Colombo Stock Exchange, Rajiva Bandaranaike, said that with a history of nearly 40 years, First Capital Treasuries has functioned as a pioneer licensed primary dealer appointed by the Central Bank to deal in government securities, and we are happy to see that the First Capital Treasuries is now opening its doors to the public to join their journey of wealth creation. That is economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The weather report.
Finally, the weather report. The Met Department says mainly fair weather will prevail over most parts of the island. There is a possibility of ground frost in some places in the New Aurelia district and in the early hours of the morning. Slightly cold weather in the night and early morning is expected over most parts of the island during the next few days. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, north central, southern and Uva provinces during the morning hours. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the International Weather Forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather was observed to be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature was around 28 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 24 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature will be around 23 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The Air Quality Index AQI is 24, which shows fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms for long-term exposure. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. Prime Minister Rajapaksa offers prayers at Tirupati. Christmas dawns at midnight today. Midnight masses will be conducted under strict health guidelines. CBS adds merit to the season with further incentives for workers' remittances. GMOA strike temporarily called off. Sri Lanka records 20 new COVID-related deaths and 323 more people recover from the infection. The government plans to provide an advance of not more than 4,000 rupees to government servants for the year 2022. In news overseas, Bangladesh ferry fire, dozens killed near Jalakati. And in sports news, Burnley Everton postponed because of COVID cases. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your Friday evening host. We're sitting in today, Heshma, to keep you entertained. And also, let me wish all our listeners out there a very Merry Christmas this Christmas Eve.